Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day 5 of my life. Today is going to be a slow day, looking at my schedule. So rather than risk not having any good content for you guys or it being delayed, I decided to do a Q&A. Now, for anyone that follows me on Instagram, you know that every now and then I do these Sunday Q&As where I ask you to ask me questions, and I go through and I answer them with pictures and yada, yada, yada. I decided I'm going to start taking that to my new YouTube channel. So if you're not following me on Instagram, it's at Anthony W. Fair. Make sure to follow me, check out my stories. I haven't picked a set day yet. I think I'm going to. I'm still kind of figuring out this schedule. But once a week, I'm going to do a Q&A, and you can ask me anything from motivation to business to lifestyle to my fitness routines to travel to mindset, anything you want. Now, I have another page that's dedicated to my watch business and watch questions. So I will still answer some watch questions, but this one I want to keep more towards just a lot of other stuff. So pay attention, make sure you're following me, and I'm just going to jump right in and start asking questions and answer these to the best of my ability. First question, can you go deeper into how you got your business investor? Like, how were they? Well, I have approached hundreds of people about investments. I've talked about it publicly on social media, on YouTube, on Instagram. For me, I wanted someone that was specific to the watch business. I wanted someone that understood watches, that collected them, so that they would understand how we spend money. Because if you take someone that only knows money and you tell them you're going to go out and buy a $50,000 watch, a $13,000 watch that trades at 3 times its retail price, they won't understand it. They'll tell you it's a bubble and yada, yada, yada. I've heard it many times. I got lucky. This gentleman was referred to me by another client to sell us some watches. He came in, he sold us a couple of watches, he bought a couple of watches from us, and we got to realizing that we had a lot of similarities and that we vibed really well. And eventually I straight up asked him. I said, "Hey, what would you think about investing in our business?" And you see the growth that we're doing, you see the growth we're seeing on social media. This could not only be a great investment down the road, but it could be fun along the way. Next question, how to rest properly, not in a fitness way, but in a mental way. Well, that I don't have an answer to, because I still don't rest properly mentally or physically. I sleep, 4 to 5 hours a night. Mentally, it's kind of for me, I try to schedule downtime, rest time, but honestly for me, whenever I'm stressed out or I'm thinking that if I just want to go eat a cheeseburger, I just go eat a cheeseburger or a pizza. If I just want to stop working for the night, I just do it. And a lot of people will say, no, you've got to stick to a strict schedule. You can't do that. That's not discipline. I've been disciplined and I can do that. I can push past all that, but then you're stressed out the next morning, and I feel that affects your performance the next day, is when you keep pushing past what your mind or your body is telling you that it wants to do. Now, that is within reason. If I splurge tonight, if I'm like down or something and I just feel like eating a pizza, I'm gonna go eat a pizza. But tomorrow, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go do an hour to an hour and a half of fasted cardio to make up for that. And then I'm gonna diet properly the rest of the week. So it's a give and take. It's not just every time your mind tells you to be lazy, you go be lazy and then you don't step up for it. You have to counteract everything you do. Next question, if I weren't a watch dealer, what do you think I would have been doing? I've always loved real estate. I've always loved architecture. There's obviously a significant amount of money involved into it. That would be one if it were for money, but a true passion of mine outside of watches was photography and videography. I love traveling, so honestly, I could have seen myself being some type of travel photographer or videographer. Do I think the RM hype is a bubble? Do I see their gray market prices staying there? Personal opinion, I think RM is safe for at least another 2 to 3 years. I'm gonna keep investing in them. I'm gonna keep playing the game and building up until I ultimately get to my grill piece. As of right now, no, I don't think it's a bubble. I think prices are going crazy, crazy high, but the CEO of that is doing that because he wants to keep the exclusivity. Nowadays you walk through Beverly Hills High School, everybody and their mom, the kids have not only one Rolex, but they have Rolex collections. So The exclusivity that used to be there with Rolex, of owning a Rolex, is no longer there. RM, it's still there. Every year the prices go up. It's making it harder and harder to obtain it, meaning it's keeping only the top 1% to own it, and that's exactly what he wants to do. I don't know what's going to happen. As long as they keep numbers down, they keep coming out with more creative stuff, yes, I think the price is going to stay there for a little while. I personally am going to stay in the market in RM for 2 to 3 years, and I'll just keep seeing where it goes every year after that. Is it healthy for a business to tell awkward customers you cannot do business, you cannot help them? Depends on what you mean by awkward. If it's just they're awkward, like they're not social, they're very introverted, they're bad at explaining things, no, yes, that's not healthy. It is your job as a business owner to coach them through and figure out what their needs are to see if you can offer them a solution. Now, if they're awkward in the sense of, like they don't really know what they want, they're not willing to work with you, they're not willing to listen to you, they're not willing to let you coach them into something or give you some advice, or they're one of those customers that comes in and tries to tell you how to do your business, or maybe they read some ad on Google and they think they know more than you, then yes, I have no problem saying, look, I understand your concerns, but this is not something I feel like I can handle. This may not be the best, I may not be the best solution to your problem. And that's how you tell them. Having connections to clients or other dealers, which is more important? Well, I'm guessing if you're wanting to be in the business, then it starts with having connections to other dealers, because you can know all the clients in the world, but if you don't know where to source watches, what good does it do? I would start by buying and selling product and focus on volume. Move as many pieces as you can, wholesale to wholesale, build those back-end relationships with other dealers, and build your name up, because it's also going to become important when you are facing a retail client, like who have you done business with? They're going to want references. They're going to want to know if you're a trusted dealer, if they can trust you, and they may ask other dealers if they know of you. So I would say start with dealers, then work your way to clients. I see high revenues for gray market dealers, but what about profit margin? Well, wholesale to wholesale, there are very high revenue numbers because they trade these watches like in seconds, dealer to dealer. They mark them up $200 to $400 per watch, which you don't think is a lot of money, but if you trade 5-10 of these a day consistently, it adds up. Now, when you get to the retail presence, the retail side, average target profit margin is around 10%. Now that depends if they are someone that wants to move volume fast, which is myself. We aim for 10%, and now that is at a threshold. We are not hitting 10% on $100,000 pieces. Please don't think that. If you've got stores that let inventory sit longer and they're focused on just getting their number, those guys can hit profit margins of 20%, 25%, depending on the price again. Where and how do you find the strength not to drink when everyone else is? Kudos for that. Thank you, Billy. So one thing for me is that I'm on parole still, so I legally can't drink. Now, there is nothing physically stopping me from that. I could go out and have a drink if I wanted to. I choose not to because, one, I don't want to go back to prison. Two, look at my life today. My life is absolutely amazing, and I truly would not be where I'm at right now if I were still out drinking, because it is hard. There are a lot of lonely nights where I would rather be out being social. I would rather be out on weekends just having a cocktail, winding down, having fun with my friends, being the socialite that I like to be. But I know that tomorrow morning, if I do that, the following morning I'm going to stay in bed until 12, roll out of bed, 1 o'clock maybe, go eat some shitty food to wash away the hangover. By 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I might start feeling like myself again. For me, by the time most people are waking up the night after going out, I've already got my day done. I've worked out once, I've run errands, I've been to the office, I've planned out my next week. So when I look at the pros and cons of not drinking, the pros always outweigh the cons. So that for me is, I know what I can build if I don't drink, if I stay on this, versus what I'll have if I do drink. Biggest regret, honestly, A lot of people may know, may not know, I was a twin. I had a twin brother, and he passed away on a motorcycle wreck back in 2015. And I would say my biggest regret is in the last few years, not spending more time with him, not including him on more of my personal endeavors or my trips and stuff like that. So have you taken on too much trying to release something every day? Will quality suffer? No, because I feel like I do this stuff anyway. I'm already pulling my phone out to film a lot of stuff for social media via a story. Why not turn the phone sideways and capture that in a video that gives you guys a better insight into my life? Now, for quality, I'm actually going to, you guys know Darby's my main videographer with Timepiece Gentleman. He also films, he will be filming a little bit of this, but I'm actually going to outsource another editor, a third editor, that's going to only work on these videos so that you guys don't suffer on quality. But is it a lot to take on? Absolutely. But I'm the kind of person that thrives under pressure, and I love a challenge. So, all right, next question. Are you mostly focusing on higher end watches looking forward versus the 10K and below market? So, yes, actually, I personally, because I'm so busy running a business, I've got a lot of travel, got a lot of things going on. Now I'm doing this daily vlog. I've only got the time to focus on a few watch deals a month. So I'm personally focusing on, 50 to 60,000 plus. 6-figure pieces, I'm handling those because I've been in the business a lot longer than most of my sales staff. They're not really equipped to do that or ready to do that yet. Now, if they get a client, absolutely they can handle it. But I've just been doing this long enough, and I've built those relationships where I have the clientele that are spending that kind of money. And it's a much more delicate, like whenever you're selling a $10,000 watch, it's not as hands-on as selling a $100,000 watch. So it just takes a little bit more focus, a little bit more dedication, and more travel, stuff like that. So yes, I'm gonna be focusing on high-end stuff. I'm gonna send everything else to my team. Considering other business ventures, absolutely. As my income goes up, I'm about to start opening other small businesses. And I know there's a question here asking me what kind of businesses I would be in. It's simple. I'm gonna start businesses based around things that I like. I love coffee. One day I wanna open a coffee shop, and I wanna tailor it to what I like and what I would enjoy, because I know that I have a very, very high standard of living. And so if I open it and it simply allows me to come have a cup of coffee in an environment that I enjoy, that's simple, I'm sure other people will like it. The same thing with sushi. I have an idea for a sushi concept. Maybe a gym. All things that I do, I would like to open a business around simply out of convenience for me, but if it caters to me, I know it would cater to a lot of other people. Invested in stocks and real estate? No, I'm not, because people ask me all the time, why do I live in an apartment and I don't buy a house? Well, because the 20% down payment, the HOAs, if you want to live in a high rise, which is what I love, and the upkeep and maintenance, you actually break even at the end of the year. If you really crunch the numbers, you break even. I mean, yes, you're gaining equity long term in a house, so 20, 30 years from now, you can sell it and cash all that out. All that is all that is for most people is a glorified savings account. My money's better spent in watches. I can buy a watch, sell a watch, buy a watch, and I can triple my money in a year. You can't do that in real estate. Plus, I like to move around every year. Invested in stocks? No, I don't know stocks really well. Again, long-term investment. It's a long-term savings account for most people. Now, it's good investments for most people. I, however, know how to turn my money faster, and I can double it, triple it, quadruple it in less time. And I get to enjoy stuff like this. So I invest in what I know. Recommendations on coaching, buying, and selling watches as a side hustle. Well, I do actually have one private client that I'm personally coaching, and I charge him 20 grand. I've built up a business, I've built up a name, I've built up a network, I've built up a social media following, and I've got the experience that I've taken myself from a $1,300 business to almost 30 million this year. I know a little bit, and then I just hired a business coach. So all these things that I'm doing are going to get relayed down to him. He spent 20 grand for a year worth of coaching for me. I'm not going to offer that to a lot of people. If someone's very serious and you've got at least $50,000 in capital to start, come talk to me. Come get a hold of me. How do I function on less hours of sleep? Any advice on readjusting my sleep schedule? Man, I've just, you can try to plan a sleep schedule all you want. The more you plan, I feel like the less it works. I sleep when I'm done. I actually just got back from a trip from LA. It was less than a 24-hour trip, but I was up until 1:30 in the morning. My flight was at 6, meaning I was leaving my apartment at 4:30 to get to the airport. I didn't get back home until midnight, and then I'm back up again at 5 a.m. for training and get to the office and stuff. So honestly, I sleep when I can. I try to throw in a 30-minute to a 45-minute nap at some point throughout the day, which, believe me, that is the best thing in the world. That 4 hours of sleep and a 30-minute nap in the middle of the day is the equivalent to 8 hours of sleep for me. What's the best and worst parts of the current watch market, in my opinion? Honestly, the prices. The best thing for our business is the prices are high. The market's getting exposure it's never gotten before, and so prices are high. People are making more money. People have more disposable income to spend. So the market's up. The worst part, same thing. People have more and more money to spend, which means they're spending whatever it takes to get the piece they want because they can't get it from the authorized dealers. When I sell a piece today, you always have to second guess selling something, because if I don't sell this piece today, tomorrow it's worth more money. If I do sell this piece today, it costs me that amount of money to replace it. So that's why that's one of the reasons why there's a lack of inventory out there, is dealers don't want to sell, because every day we get closer to Christmas, the prices keep going up. What are my goals for this year for myself and my company? Well, I've made those public already. Getting new space, 35 million in sales, and I've added one more, is just being 100% organized. By the end of the year, I want my business to almost be automated by itself, where I can step away, go do some travel, go take a vacation, an actual vacation where I don't have to look at my phone. If I can get to that by the end of the year, I honestly don't even care about the money anymore. I don't care about how much revenue we do. I want my business to be automated and function when I'm not present. Next question. To be honest, were you afraid when you made the bets at roulette, and did you feel like you lost control? I was not afraid. Obviously anxious because you want to win, but not worried either. 2 reasons why. I never gamble anything more than I can afford to lose. And 2, anytime I do lose big, and I have lost big before, anytime I do lose big, I don't write that off as a loss. I write that off as, okay, I just spent this money. I need to make this up in a very short amount of time. So I even told Marco and Alfred, had I lost that money, I was going to spend the next 2 weeks grinding on my phone, going back into the WhatsApp groups, and just paying attention to deals until I made that money back. So I was going to become a recluse, and I was going to hustle and hustle and hustle and grind until I earned that money back. Now, I didn't do that because I won. But imagine if I had that mindset, even if I won 120 grand. What if I said, oh man, I gotta go make 120 grand now, and I went back and did that exact thing? That's the way I look at it. I lose money, I just go grind until I earn it back faster than I would have. If a business plan makes sense and I'm relatively young, should I just pull the trigger? Absolutely. If you're relatively young, you've got time to make up for a mistake. Let's say you invest all your money, you say you're 21 and you've got $100,000 and you want to invest in a business. You get the business up, you spend all of your money, and you realize you didn't know shit about running a business, or you didn't spend your money wisely. Guess what? You didn't lose $100,000. You just spent $100,000 on a real life lesson that no business coach or no mentor or no motivational speaker can ever teach you. So that, in my opinion, is money well spent. Now, is it going to take you some time to recoup? Yes, but you're going to recoup it. And you're going to recoup it better. You're going to retain it better, because getting it back a second time, it's hard to get, let's say $100,000 the first time. It's even harder to get it the second time once you've lost it, because now you're in fear of losing it again. But I can promise you, when you get it again, it'll stay. It's more safe. It's a better foundation, because you've already gone through that real world experience. What is the most challenging aspect of my business? I would say right now, sourcing inventory. We've got more clients coming to us than we can handle. The lack of inventory out there, like I mentioned just a minute ago, dealers don't want to sell anything because every day they hold it, the prices are going up. So sourcing inventory. Do I follow a regimented diet plan or just monitor what I eat as far as macro numbers? I'll tell you this, I have never once in my life counted macros. I've never counted calories. I've never counted fat and carbs and all that. What I do is I look at my body and how I feel. I've been doing this long enough that I eat a lot of protein. I eat a lot of veggies. I was eating a lot of carbs, and I just kind of eat what I like, and then I see how I feel. Eventually, when you've done this long enough, you know, based on what you've eaten, how it's going to affect your body. I know that if I'm feeling fluffy or feeling fat, to go eat lean. I know that if I'm feeling kind of lean and I want to put on some muscle and I'm about to go do a heavy workout, it's okay to eat some fats and some carbs. Now, the common person's not going to know all that. I would suggest hiring a trainer or doing some research, watching some videos, and getting a general idea. But for me, I've just been doing it long enough. I started when I was 15 years old. When you're 15, you can eat whatever you want. It doesn't matter. You're still going to stay lean as long as you're working out. So I got lucky and I took advantage of that time being young and my metabolism being so fast. I could eat whatever I want, and I just kind of catered it. And over time, I just learned what works for my body because everybody's body is different. Best investment watch for $120,000. A pre-owned Platinum Daytona, just the regular one. That watch will double in value once it's discontinued. How long have I been working out? Since I was 15 years old. I'm 33 now, so 18 years. What was the hardest part about starting the watch business, aside from capital? The hardest part is watch knowledge. You know, everyone thinks they want to be in this business because there's expensive watches and there's a lot of money and there's a fancy lifestyle involved, but you can't, none of that's possible without having an actual watch knowledge, because at the end of the day, you've either got to be the cheapest person on the planet or you've got to be the most educated, or a combination of two. I can sell this watch to someone over what someone else, I could sell this watch higher than somebody else down the street simply because I know more about it. I know the history about it. I know when you know the history about it, you can kind of forecast the value, and that's what people pay for. What's your usual weekly training split and why? Again, this kind of goes back to how I feel. I don't have a set training regimen. I do cardio. I try to do cardio every morning, fasted to stay lean, and then in the evenings I do weights. Now, when it comes to doing weights, it's either heavy or it's high reps, and I base that on how I feel. If I feel thick, I do high reps. If I feel lean, I do heavy. Opinions on private AD dealership relationship versus gray market public dealer. Opinion on private AD. Well, I'll tell you this. In the older days, you know, say a year ago, I would say play the AD game. But from what I'm seeing, the ADs are very selective, and flat out they're giving watches to who spends the most money. That's it. So unless you've got a lot of money to play this game with it, I wouldn't waste time on the AD game. You're better off going straight to a gray market dealer, buying the piece you want, having them coach you through what's going to hold value and what they're going to be able to buy it back for, and you keep trading in and out of them without losing money. In today's market, I think gray market relationships are way better than ADs, because I know 5 or 6 dealers that spend millions with authorized dealers, and they get every allocation that dealer gets, because they're not only buying the hype stuff, they're buying the non-hype stuff as well. And you as a consumer are just getting the same excuse week after week, month after month from the AD that we just don't have it. No, they have it. You're just not getting it because we're spending more money to get it. 3 tips that helped you explode your business. 1, don't listen to friends and family. They do not have your interests at heart. They don't know your motivation. They are not on the same, they don't want it as bad as you do. Friends and family want you to play it safe. They don't want to see you fail. They don't want to see you risk anything. That's exactly how you don't grow, is by doing those things. So don't ask friends and family. 2, network the hell out of yourself. You need to meet every single person you can and tell them who you are and what you do. Now, you need to do it in a non-salesy way. You need to do it in an authentic way, and do it to people that actually care. But you need to network. You need to market yourself. You need to be on social media. If you're not on social media, you are getting lost. okay? Because everyone is glued to their phones. You cannot rely on regular advertising or anything else like that. 3, do something you love. If you are getting into an industry because there's a lot of money involved, you're not going to make a lot of money. You're going to be miserable. Maybe you make a lot of money, but you're going to be stressed out because you're working so much. You're working so many hours, and you didn't anticipate how tough it was going to be. I work 15 hours a day, but I love my job, so it doesn't feel like work to me. That's the only reason. That is the number one reason I am as successful as I am, is I am obsessed with what I do and I love it, and it never feels like work for me. Would I be open to any collabs on the new channel? Absolutely. Follow me on Instagram, shoot me a message and title it collab, and let me know. Give me a pitch. Tell me what your collab is, what the idea is. Don't just ask me if I want to do a collab. You got to present it to me and tell me why, because I'm not going to have a lot of time to read 1,000 messages. So get straight to the point for me. Did I ever struggle with comparing myself to others? Of course. How can you not? Every time you open up Instagram, every time you open up Facebook, every time you open up a magazine, there's someone right in your face telling you you're not as good as them, or telling you that you need this to be better. So yes, I struggled with it. I still struggle with it. I think a lot of people do. Eventually you just have to get to a point where you focus on you, focus on being happy with what you have, focus on being happy with how you look. If you're not happy with what you have, go work harder. If you're not happy with how you look, go work out and stop eating shitty food every night. Stop drinking every weekend. You know, if you're gonna struggle with it, but when you struggle, that is your mind telling you this is something you need to fix. Now, don't go buy a bunch of stuff to make yourself feel better. That's not what I'm saying. If you have this amount of stuff and you feel inadequate, just remember that no matter how much you got, someone else always has more. Trust me, I've seen it. Yes, I struggle with it. And I'm not a psychologist or a therapist, but that's just something you've got to just learn to love yourself, you know, respectfully. How old were you when you made your first $100,000? I was 20 years old, actually. I was bartending 5 nights a week. I was a personal trainer 5 days a week. And then I was buying and selling electronics on Craigslist back when Craigslist was relevant. So work at the gym 6 hours a day, Monday through Friday. I was working at different bars like Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. And then in my side hustle, I was buying photography equipment, computers, digital cameras, and I was selling those on Craigslist, buying and selling them on Craigslist. And when I was 20, I think I made just over $100,000 profit that year. What biggest shift in your mindset allowed you to become where you are today? Going to prison was not a mindset shift. It was going to prison and realizing that, you know, I've been doing this in and out of jail thing a long time. Nobody's going to hand me anything. That if I wanted something new, actually, you know what? I just got tired of it, honestly. I got tired of waking, you know, if I went out one night and I broke my cell phone, it was 2 days. There was points in my life where it was like 2 days before I could go get a new cell phone because I didn't have $400 to go buy one. That sucks. Go through that enough times and you're just like, what the hell am I doing with my life? So for me, I just got tired of the lifestyle. I wanted something more, and I knew that I was gonna have to change something to get that. The going out every weekend, the partying, the spending money on just stupid shit all the time, that wasn't gonna work. So I changed all those things, and then stuff just started to happen. Did I ever get run down on by any gangs in prison? Would love to hear your story. No, so when I was in prison, I was in minimum security. I was in people think that every prison is, you know, 2 or 3 stories, and the bars are all lined, or the cells are all lined up, and you know the bars open up and you step out. That's not prison. That is a prison somewhere, I'm sure, but that's not prison where I was at. I was in, think military boot camps. Like, we're in a big dorm. There's 60 of us per room. There's 4 of these rooms per pod, and you just sleep on bunk beds. Are there gangs? Yes, of course. Will they ask you if you want to join it? Yes, of course. Do they Do they come after you if you say no? No. What they do is when you go to prison, you are initiated in, I guess you're like welcomed in by fighting. So someone of your race, two people of your race actually, that are definitely bigger than you, that can beat your ass, come and beat your ass. And all they want to do is they want to see if you're going to fight. If you stand up and fight and you take your ass whooping, they'll beat your ass right then, and then they'll feed you that night. And it's like, it's like guys, like we fight and then we're best friends. That's kind of how it is. If you don't fight and you don't stand up and take that ass whooping, yes, you will get picked on. You will be tagged as weak. They'll come after you, making you spend your commissary money on them. If you don't, they keep beating you up. So hope that answers that question. What age do I hope to retire at? Well, retirement, in my opinion, that's just this clever way that the government and that society has come up with. It's like setting a goal so you don't question the 9-to-5 work life. Hey, if you work your way up, if you obey all of our rules and you kiss ass until you're 65 years old, we're going to set aside money for your retirement. And then when you get to 65 years old, you can stop doing all this and you can actually enjoy your life. I mean, come on, what kind of goal is that? You have to work until 65 and then be able to play? No. That's a joke. Plus, if you guys look at retirement funds now, there's nothing left. There is no Social Security, especially not whenever I retire. Now, the other thing is, guys like me don't retire. Like the thought of not waking up every day and having something to do scares me. That scares me. Sitting on a beach all day doing nothing, guys like me, we can't do it. So I'll never retire. Now, there will become a point in my life where things will get easier and all of my businesses will pretty much run themselves and I can just sit back and I can collect the residual, but I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to be coaching. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'll never retire. It's not possible. How did you get high-paying clients when your business was new with no reputation? I actually want to do a separate video on networking. And when I was starting out in this business, I picked coffee shops in affluent neighborhoods. I picked lunch spots where businessmen and financiers had lunch. I had dinner at fancy restaurants and high-end hotels every night. I work out at very expensive and exclusive gyms. So I surrounded myself with wealthy people. Eventually you become a familiar face, and then eventually they start asking you who you are, what you do, and if you present yourself in an authentic manner, you become friends, you develop these relationships, and then eventually someone needs a watch and they ask you about it. And I may not be the one to get it for them, I point them in the right direction and they remember that. Again, it's all about networking. You have to surround yourself. You want higher paying clients, surround yourself by higher paying clients. Stop entertaining the clients that are going to nickel and dime you for a $5,000 watch. If people nickel and dime me now, I quit answering their messages. Plain and simple. I have too many high-paying clients that are ready to get right to the point, and those are the ones you put your energy and your focus to. Now, it looks like that is the last of the questions that I saved, guys, so I hope that gave you a better insight into my life. I look forward to doing more of these. I want to say at least one every single week to just have new questions. So guys, again, if you're not following me on Instagram, Anthony W. Fair, give me a follow, watch my stories, and whenever I ask for a question, drop a question. I'm going to pick the best ones, and once a week, they are going to get aired. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you're enjoying the series so far. They're going to get better and better as I get more comfortable doing this every day and figure out a more consistent theme. So don't forget to hit the like button, make sure you subscribe, and hit the bell so you're notified every day whenever I post this. I plan to post every single day at 12 noon Central Standard Time. So I hope to see you guys in the next one. And I want to spice things up a bit. In the next video, or one of my next videos, I'm going to give away a Rolex to get this channel kicked off. I want to get to 100,000 subscribers by the end of this year. So I will see you guys tomorrow.